It's the boy DJ Wolf here. I'll stop the music. Let me address my feelings about the situation that happened out in St. Mary's County, Maryland. An area I'm somewhat familiar with, but not exactly. I know. I mean, I've been in the area before. I'm not familiar with the schools down there. But I've been to the other counties that surround it frequently. I got to talking to a couple of my colleagues about it. And it's really sad when kids don't feel safe in the motherfucking schools. I got to go straight on this, man, because this is it's heartbreaking. I was so upset this morning when I heard about it. I literally got up out of my desk and walked around the building to get, just to relieve myself from breaking down, man, because it's sad. And I'm gonna tell you, that's not sad. Boy, that's sad. But what was sad was a note that I read. I don't know if I'll be able to play it on here because I got this app, and I want to play it so bad. I really do. What I'll do, I'll add it in the next segment. It'll be part 2 of this, and I'll explain it. Here's my thing. When I was growing up, primarily back in the 70s and 80s, the last thing I thought about doing, the very last thing I thought about doing was, and I'm very serious about it, the very last thing I thought about doing was going to school and worry about assholes like the one who shot those people at that school today. The biggest issue for me was bullies, and I dealt with them head on. Didn't say I won every battle, but I dealt with them head on, and I didn't lose every battle either. I'll be honest about that. But that was my biggest worry at the time. And that's even in the early 80s when gangs came around that were prevalent in schools. But even then, I didn't hear, there weren't a lot of stories about kids getting knocked off in schools and stuff like that. Matter of fact, there were virtually nothing like that going on that I can recall. But it's really sad in 2018 that you think that schools will be much safer than they were when I went to school in the 1970s and 80s. And the bad part about this is that kids now have a chance to learn a lot more than I learned growing up with the public schools, especially the public schools I went to. Like I said, this thing that they want to impose, these Republicans want to impose about teachers bringing guns to school to protect the kids, is the dumbest motherfucking thing I ever heard in my goddamn life. And I'm going to tell you right now, are these Republicans fucking retarded or what? They got to be the most retarded fucking bunch of people in the history of anything. They're retarded as shit. Why the hell would you want teachers being the one people to have guns on them around school children? That's the last thing you want. And I thought about that, and I talked to other people, and they all agree the same thing. Guns have no business in schools, period. The one thing I will say, if you're going to hire anybody to protect the kids, hire some trained guards, off-duty policemen who are willing to do a few hours at the school or whatever. You know, who need the extra overtime, who be willing to do it, or who can do it. You know, how come the schools can't hire their own school force to do that? I'm talking about trained guys. I'm talking about, now ain't no, I'm talking about people with actual experience. You know, I'm very serious about this, man. No one takes it seriously. You know, people that you vote in your own office, in your own districts, don't even take it seriously anymore. None of them do. You know why, right? Because the gun business is a money multi-million to billion-dollar industry. Okay? They ain't trying to regulate shit when it comes to those guys. It's funny. Someone on satellite radio a number of years ago proposed one of the greatest proposals I've ever heard. Why don't there be such thing as gun insurance? And I'm all for it. You know, I'm all for it. I really am. As a registered gun owner, I don't have a problem with that. Anything that would, you know, add on to extra protection for my family. You know, and the purpose for gun insurance is, if you shoot somebody and you're clearly in the wrong, you won't pay out your ass. I think that's the way it should be. I think gun insurance is a brilliant idea. Now, I haven't listened to, and I'll tell you what, I'll say it's Joe Madison from, he had actually proposed that years ago. Dude, you gonna get over a knot, damn. I don't wait all day to put food down. At least he put 6 on, but still. But you know, I think it's a brilliant idea. I'll be honest with you. I really do. I think you should repropose the idea and bring it back. I had no problem with that. Really, he did all that to go in the right lane? He could just simply just went straight up the gut? Jeez. You know, like I said, I think it's a brilliant idea. I had no problem with that. Not at all. Not in the least. I really don't. Because we need to impose restrictions as much as we can on gun, when it comes to gun laws. They impose restrictions on tariffs. They impose restrictions on imports, exports. They impose restrictions on things you can buy. I mean, certain things. Well, yeah, they do. They impose restrictions on all kinds of stuff. Why is it that the gun laws don't want to impose restrictions on any guns? Specifically, guns like AR-15s, which at one time myself I had thought about buying, but then I thought about saying, I don't need no AR-15. I really don't. I think most people don't need AR-15. Now, if you're in a war zone, that's a different story. Okay? I know some people say, well, we are in war zone in the hood. Okay, that's another whole story. Okay, we're talking about in a real, actual war zone, where you're specifically there to fight a real war. Okay? Versus you having to walk around with an AR-15 for no goddamn reason, just because it looks good. You know, although I will admit it's a beautiful piece of machinery, but it has no place in the streets, man. It really don't. Definitely that, and people that even think about doing that kind of stupid shit has no business out here, period. As far as I'm concerned. Teachers have no business they have no business with no guns in school. I'm totally against that. If anything, why don't you just hire trained professionals to do that? Protect our children. That's what you should be doing. I would rather do that than actually have a teacher trying to teach and be distracted every 2 seconds because he's too busy or she's too busy worried about where the gun is, or if it's loaded and they need to load it and hear some, that's too much of a distraction. I'm sorry. It really is. One thing I could honestly say about Michael Jackson, God rest his soul, man. I think about I think about him often. I really do. I think about him often as I do some of my own relatives who the party. Because even though you might have had some issues with Michael Jackson, I think Michael Jackson was on the pulse of what is really needed to be done in this country. And that's protect our children. Our number one asset. He had the pulse on that, and nobody wanted to listen, and they still not listening. That's the sad part about it. He knew what was really needed when it came to the children in this country, and no one took him seriously about it. Nobody. That's a goddamn shame. But he was absolutely right. He was totally right. Now, on the thing about would he ever hurt a child, I never actually thought Michael Jackson was capable of hurting a child. The molestation thing, I'm not even 100% that he actually did it. But some of the things that he did was a little bit off, but that's another whole story. Michael Jackson wanted the kids of this country and of this world to be safe, man. And I think every child, especially the younger children, has a right to be protected by their parents or guardians. They have every right to feel safe in their home, man. Every child, everywhere. And I don't think it's any different with school. I think every child is entitled. That's why I saw a woman on Fox about 2 years ago. There's no joke. I saw a story on Fox about 2 years ago, and this goofy, pale-faced bitch. Yes, I said it. And she was pale-faced like a mug. Had the audacity to sit there and was quoted as saying, and I quote, "Education is a privilege and not a right." I heard what that crazy woman said, and I went literally ham. Because there's no way. It's really saying that education ain't for you. That's not true. Education is the right for everybody to have. You have to be educated. You have to have something that you're going to need to be educated on. Whether you operate a crane or a motor vehicle or a bike or exercise equipment. Education is important. I don't care what you're doing. Whether you're instructed to do a cooking class or whether you're instructed to do work on computers or teach school or whatever. Education is important, and you have a right to be educated. You don't have a privilege, you have a right. So I'm going to tell you, this is for everybody, including you young people out there. Don't ever let anybody tell you that you don't have a right to a good education. You do. I don't give a fuck what background you come from, or race, or creed, or color. I really don't give a shit about that. You do have a right to a good education. That's right. You really do. And for anybody to say that education is a privilege, they need their head examined. Seriously. And I know why she said it. She's telling y'all folks who really don't have a lot of education, or some of y'all, that you don't really need it. and only those who are cultured should have an access to get it, and nobody else. Yeah. She's putting that thought process and trying to put that thought process in your brain to make you think you aren't worthy of an education. No, everybody is. Everyone has a right to a good education. Oh, man, this weather is terrifying. Yep. Everyone, young and old. But getting back to what I was saying about this shooting that happened out here. I don't have all the details of the story yet. But I know it was, from what I understand, 2 people were killed. I think there were 3 that were seriously hurt, including the police officer. That happened at a high school out in St. Mary's County today. Right around, it was like 9 or 10 o'clock. It was sometime during the day, something like that. And my heart really does go out to the families of the victims. It's once again, senseless type of tragedy. It really should and can be avoided. Because it's been happening too often in this country, man. Way too often, to a point where I'm like, I don't know anymore, man. I said, it's a good thing. I mean, for me personally, I'm glad I stay prayed up when I do, man, because the world's not right no more, man. And every time I think about the children, my children, and somebody else's children, when I think about it, man, I think about, wow, the Lord just keep us safe, man. Seriously. They don't deserve this. And you got a president that, really, I ain't heard him say anything, not saying that he didn't. I haven't heard him say one thing. I'll tell you, but that's another whole story. I don't even want to get into that right now. But I do say that this ain't right, man. This world ain't living right, man. The people who running this world around here, man, ain't living right. You can't be living right. You ain't trying to treat your people right. You let your people die off like this, man. And you're not really putting any real meat behind the legislation to protect your people. None. Zero. We're going to have them change the butt stocks out. What the fuck they're going to do? They ain't going to stop people from shooting. No. If you really was about getting tough on gun legislation, tough on gun legislation, you would. But they're making no effort. They're really not. Oh, we're going to raise the age limit to 21. Hell. Oh, yeah. Well, the only people who put their money where their mouth is, and I talked about it, was the CEO of Dick's Sporting Goods. And I give him credit for that. He said, you know what, we're not going to sell any guns there anymore. We're done. And I had to give a big shout out to him again for taking that stand. Walmart, on the other hand, is not even talking about it. They just want to raise the age of 21. I thought Walmart always had it for the age of 21. And I don't know. To me, it's just sad. It's really sad. It's heartbreaking. Personally. Sometimes, I got to a point where I just worked right through lunch today. I couldn't even eat. Thinking about that. I literally could not think about it. And then you got the messes going on down in Austin where people, putting bombs around there. So it's just like, man, this world ain't right, man. What happened to love, man? What happened to love when people just, it was all about love? I ain't saying everybody was like that back in the day, but I saw more love from people than I did hate. Now I see nothing but hate. People living foul, man. Living foul. See, that's one of the reasons why I like The Walking Dead because, and especially the story about Carl on The Walking Dead. If you hadn't already know, you know Carl character was killed off in Walking Dead a few weeks ago, and I ain't gonna lie, I was taken back a little away, man, because Carl was the one guy on the show who really wanted to break the bread, so to speak. He wanted to be right. He wanted things to be, you know, he just wanted peace, man. And he couldn't get even in there. You know, but he fought for it. He was a young fighter, man. I realized the active player had been on there all 8 years, started out when he was like 10, 11 years old. Now he's about 18, 19, man. It's like, wow. I didn't realize 8 years go by a long way, man. But this is what I'm saying, though. And I'm going to say this. I don't give a damn who hears me. I really don't. Anybody with a real common sense, just basic common sense, but real common sense, knows what needs to be done in terms of gun legislation and gun bans. You know that the laws aren't as tough as you claim they can be. And you know you're not making much of an effort to do anything about it. What they need to do is show the photos. And somebody actually mentioned that too. They need to show the photos of the victims, so that the people will have a better understanding of why we need gun legislation. To a point, or maybe we may have to just go ahead and do what they do in other countries and start banning them and impose tougher, stricter laws against people who use them in crime. It's kind of funny that Donald Trump, and yeah, I'm coming back to that son of a bitch. Donald Trump talks tough talk about death penalty for drug dealers. Yet, this motherfucker ain't said nothing about trying to A, get the drugs off the street so you won't have a reason to have drug dealers out there. Number two, have jobs out there for people who won't have to have a reason to do it in the first place. Not saying there's any excuse to do it at all, but I'm just saying, so you will have opportunities for people that can do better than what they're doing, and keep them from turning themselves into themselves in the life of crime. You know, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. He brings up no alternatives to that, and I don't think he has any intentions to. That's the bad part about it. You know, real people do real work. I'll say that. You know what needs to be done with that? This legislation. And these Republicans and Democrats are sitting on their fucking ass while people are suffering out here. And I'm tired of it, man. I'm tired of it almost to a point of tears, man. You know? And I know people who live near high school and elementary school. And I pray for them kids, man. You know. But last night is what took the cake for me, unfortunately. There was a story on CNN.com that talked about a sixth grader. A sixth grader. I'm going to try to post it on my channel tonight. Matter of fact, I'm going to try to post the letter, or what was actually read. And then I'm going to try to post the actual video where they interviewed the mother on CNN. So I'm going to try to post it tonight, because I got to post it. And I was taken aback by what he said. I'm not going to go into detail right now, but I will say this, and I'm gonna cut this podcast off right now. But I'm gonna do another one. Matter of fact, I might do one tonight. But when you're 11, 12 years old, and you already thinking about death, that's not good. That's not good. At the age of 11, 12 years old, you're already talking about death. You're already talking about facing death. You know, that's fucked up. It really is. That's fucked up. The bad part about it, I don't see the media jumping all over that. Notice what the media do. The media's like, well, we got kids out here protesting and blah, blah, blah. And that's all well and good. Nothing wrong with that. I support that wholeheartedly. And I hope they keep putting the goddamn pressure on it to get something done. You know, because this shit is ridiculous. You know, it's truly ridiculous. But you also need to, and I'm going to make it my business to do it, is to make sure that this story is heard loud and clear if I can post this motherfucker every goddamn night about this young man. To me, that is the ultimate story. But I guess because he wasn't white enough, yeah, they're not paying attention right now. That's what's truly heartbreaking. Not that it mattered what color he was, but it just what mattered was the story itself, as far as I'm concerned, because that told the story of what kids are facing today. The education ain't the point anymore for them. The point for them is they worry about if they're going to even live long enough to even graduate elementary school. You know, that's sad. It's very sad. It really is. It's heartbreaking. I read it out. I don't know if my wife cried. She probably did, but I came close to it, man. I was like, damn. It leaves almost a lump in my throat. It kind of does, to tell you the truth. I was really shocked by that. I'm really sad by that. But I will be posting this podcast and the other podcast. You guys will hear it, and I'm going to try to get video footage of that interview. I'll see it in about. I don't know if the interview the young man, but I know they interviewed the mother. And I definitely want to post it. I want to make sure it gets posted. If I have to open up other social media sites to post it, I will. But for damn sure, it's going to be on Spreaker. Well, it's on Spreaker. I recorded last night, and I didn't send it out. I should have. But today is most appropriate to put it out there. I'm going to post it on Spreaker, definitely on YouTube, Facebook if I can, if all possible. I'll probably end up trying to post it on SoundCloud. I'm using SoundCloud in a minute, but I'm going to start back using SoundCloud. I'm going to start putting some of my other podcasts on there. But for damn sure, y'all got to hear it. Y'all got to hear it. You know? It's a shame, man. I don't know, man. You know? People send the kids out to go get their education. And now it's to a point they may not even be able to concentrate like that on education. What the heck is going on there? And I don't know, guys. We just gotta pray on it. We gotta stay vigilant. You gotta teach your kids to stay vigilant. We gotta instill confidence and reassurance back in our children, man. Because if we don't, man, we may be facing a big loss in some of our generation from not only fear, but the possibility of getting hurt out here just because they went to school. And it ain't right. And I'm going to pray for them kids at the school today that were there, and the ones got injured, the ones got killed. I'm also going to pray for the kids that are going to be involved in the protest this weekend down here. Because they have my full support. I'm hoping to get out this one thing that I got to work on Saturday so I can go down there and actually film it. I want to be part of it. I want to actually see it. I want to actually post it. I want to be one of the few people to talk about it. I'm hoping to have something like that out, maybe out this way, so I can actually get involved with it one way or the other. But in any case, this is DJ Wolf. That's all I got to say right now. If you are a protester of a young protester is involved with this protest coming up this Saturday, and you would like to discuss it on my program, please, by all means, feel free to contact me, DJ Wolf Live at AOL.com. That's DJ Wolf Live at AOL.com. I'm also available at DJ Wolf Live on YouTube via For All to Hear TV. Just go through to my For All to Hear TV. I'm the only one listed in YouTube, period, as For All to Hear TV. And it'll say number 2 in the middle. So, also, I'm available at DJ Wolf Live, DJ Wolf Live at gmail.com, and DJ Wolf Live on Facebook, also listed as DJ Wolf page. Not all one word. It's just DJ Wolf. I should take that back. It's DJ Wolf Live page. So now the DJ Wolf Live is all one word and then page. All right, guys. Let me get through this crazy snow out here, man. It's snowing thick too. They say we're supposed to get a heap of snow out here. So let's stay prayed up, guys. Let's pray for the families, man, for real. Let's pray for each other. And I'm going to say this. Let's try to love one another better, man. And I don't mean, because, I'm talking about love and respect one another just because we're out here, just because we're human, just because we have to coexist. A lot of people don't realize that coexisting is the key to survival out here. That was one of the things I wanted to say about The Walking Dead. One of the things I wanted to say about The Walking Dead, you have people of all different backgrounds and nationalities that's on this show, from across the spectrum. And the one thing that these groups learn to do in this post-apocalyptic society is to coexist. Although you have different fractions, but that's another whole story. I don't really want to put Walking Dead in this because this Walking Dead has nothing to do with this really. But just the fact that you trying to survive out here is what I'm saying. And we need to band together better, not only as a people but as a country, man. But I'm tired of every time something happens like this, all of a sudden here comes Congress, here comes the president. All of a sudden they act like they're going to do something. And they don't do shit. They don't do anything. They don't do a goddamn thing. They do nothing. I mean nothing. They don't do anything about it. They don't work on anything about it. All they do is talk shit and spend your hard-earned tax dollars and leave the crumbs for you during tax season. That's what they do. That's exactly what they do, and they know it. That's real talk. So, I'm hungry like a mug. I'm gonna have to go up there and get me a sandwich or something. I'm gonna have to break bread, going, but now I can't do that. way I'm gonna do it. This is DJ Wolf, and I'm out.